The following post may contain recordings or visual content and language not suitable for anyone under the age of 18 or those easily offended by the truth of addiction and mental health. It's just my opinion, and it works for me. Hello, everybody. So this is my first post of many that I will be doing. I'm decided to do a weekly, right now, webisode about addiction and mental health. And I just want to reiterate that this is my opinion. This is what works for me. And I'm really passionate right now about helping other people in their journey. And so it is what it is. So if you have anything nasty I want to say to me, drop it below. If you have anything positive you want to say, drop it below. Trigger! Major trigger, major trigger. Trigger. Food trigger. Food trigger. Triggers. Trigger. So, trigger, as defined in the dictionary, distress typically as a result of arousing feelings or memories associated with a particular traumatic experience. There are so many different types of triggers for many people. Mine simply have to do usually with drugs and alcohol, also shopping, because being a bipolar person, you get manic, you get depressed. When I get manic, I know now what the signs are of that. It's usually I want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff and basically fill a void that I was filling with drugs and alcohol. But a trigger can be many things for many people. There's food triggers, there's smell triggers, there's sight triggers, there's audio triggers. There's so many different types of triggers, which is why I really wanted to show you what I do to start healing the emotional and physical triggers in my life. So it's not going to be the longest episode today because I'm just kind of trying this out to see if I get any followers or if people dig what I'm doing. But okay, here we go. Be aware. So number one is be aware of your triggers. I find for myself that if I remind me of what triggers me, it usually doesn't hurt me so bad if I'm physically and mentally aware of those things. So by being aware, I mean, getting rid of people's phone numbers that aren't good in my life, that were only there for one thing, and that was usually to party or whatever you might assume. But just be aware of your triggers and know your triggers. Number two, track the trigger's origin. Did your parents say that you were, too fat or unattractive? Did a teacher tell you that you weren't good enough to succeed in school? Or were you simply just neglected by your family and so you felt like you grew up unloved? But by knowing where your triggers come from, it allows you to know yourself better. Reprogram. So when I went through this process of reprogramming, I started with a trigger that had the least emotional charge on my life. I would tell myself, this is not reality. What's actually true is that I am lovable, I am capable, I am smart. So substitute the negative belief with a positive, more realistic one. Be proud of your sensitivities. It's very simple. Being proud of your sensitivities paves the way for a deeper belief later on. Or simply saying, I am proud of my sensitivities. Please do not put them down. Sometimes you need to practice a more enlightened behavior for it to sink and become reality. Do not give your triggers power. And the last and most important thing on my list is not giving my triggers power. I have learned to flip my trigger into a positive and productive way of thinking. So for instance, an old trigger of mine might have been, and this might sound silly to some people, but it's just my truth. When I would get paid, my first thought would be instantly calling up my drug dealer. By reprogramming my brain and telling myself that you have goals to be set, that you have bills to pay off, that it's not a bad thing to pay those bills, it really gives me empowerment to know that I can take care of myself. And for my final thought, reach out to people. If you're feeling triggered, give someone a call. Talk someone through it. You know, I had recently a really lovely conversation with someone at my work about mental health, and it was a simple question. I was just asked, so I heard through the grapevine that you were bipolar. Now, the old James would have flat out denied that, but the new James was able to have a really lovely in-depth conversation about addiction and about mental health. It's about switching the stigma. But I'm going to say that's it for now. If you like what you heard, or if you have any suggestions for videos, or if there's something you want to talk about or a topic, drop me a line. But for now, have a great day. If you or anyone you love is dealing with addiction or mental health issues, please reach out to your local health authority or drop me a message. Have a good day, everyone.